Welcome to Ignite News from Mohawk College. I'm Casey Alvarez, and here's what's making news. As the days begin to get shorter and the weather gets colder, many took advantage of the first weekend of fall at Brantwood Farms. Allie Penders has more.
The sun was shining in Brantford for the fourth weekend of the 2021 Fall Festival at Brantwood Farms. Every year, the Pates welcome guests to their family farm from far and wide to celebrate autumn. The parking lot spanned an entire field as visitors of all ages piled out of their vehicles, excited for the fall-themed fun. Owner of Brantwood Farms, Tom Pate, says despite COVID-19, the farm has seen record-high attendance this year.
800 people yesterday. We had 1,400 people last Saturday, 1,200 people last Sunday, and I have no idea how many people today.
Tom Pate hosted the first ever Fall Festival back in the 1990s. What originally started as a one-day event has grown exponentially since its launch.
Then I went for a weekend. Then I went for 2 or 3 weekends. And then I did the whole month of October. Now we do September, October.
The Fall Festival is home to a number of activities for all ages. Visitors can get lost in the corn maze, hop on a wagon for a tour around the farm, pick your own apples and pumpkins, and so much more. Although the event is primarily outdoors, the farm does have COVID-19 precautions in place. Guests are asked to wear masks on the wagon and train rides and inside all buildings. Indoor spaces also have strict capacity limits.
Fall Festival at Brantwood Farms takes place every weekend until the end of October. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Allie Penders.
An East Hamilton restaurant has a new Tuesday night comedy show. Kara Nickerson has the story.
Laughs are on tap at East Hamilton's Austin Beer Hall during Kevy's Chuckle Hour. The new comedy show is hosted by comedian Kev Sheeler every Tuesday night.
So thank you folks for coming. We got 2 comics left. You guys are guys, gals, everyone's been great here.
While the small, stageless restaurant isn't the type of place you'd expect a comedy show, Sheeler says it's a great place for comics to work on their craft.
A bar show is chaotic. You have people eating, a schnitzel. They don't know what show's happening, but that's how you kind of get better, because when you do an actual club and they're there for the show, it makes it that much easier. So it's kind of fun to surprise people with some jokes.
A confidence I can't imagine having, where you're like committing crimes and then you're going and getting those crimes printed on your body.
It was her birthday. And I was able to text her happy birthday like a good grandson, good boy.
It's a challenging room, but for comedian Allie Moore, it's worth it.
Comedy isn't about making yourself feel good, it's about making them feel good. So whenever you make eye contact with somebody, as you're about to make a joke, and you see that light in their eyes as they get that joke with you, it feels like a shared moment.
Whoa, the judgment hand wave.
And for audience members like Ashley Grace, there's more than live comedy to enjoy.
I had 6 50-cent pierogies, so I would say the food, the beer. Oh, I had a cider too. It was just all the alcohol was great.
Kevy's Chuckle Hour runs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. at Austin Beer Hall. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Kara Nickerson.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, changing leaves, and town fairs. I went out to learn more. The start of fall in Erin, Ontario means it's time for deep-fried goodies, hand-carved and decorated pumpkins, and lots of animals. The Erin Fall Fair had plenty of outdoor activities for attendees of all ages and encouraged people to social distance while enjoying their weekend. Brenda Smallwood, a vendor at the fair, traveled to Erin to sell various items crafted by herself and her family.
This is our first time doing this fair. We're not from here, we're from Aurelia. My daughter, Jennifer Smallwood, does all the knitting and all the crocheting. She made the zombies. And I do the needle felting, the fire agate, and wind chimes.
There were many vendors at the fair this year, from food trucks to crystals, and lots in between. J.R. Watkins seller J.D. Way says she's excited to be out and selling again.
At the fair this year, it's been a little bit quieter. For me, I'm just glad to be out and be selling. And I still found that, I've done okay. I'd love to do it again. It's one of my favorite fairs, one of my favorite fall fairs, and I would definitely be here next year.
The Erin Fall Fair ran from October 8th to 11th. More details on future events in Erin can be found at villageoferin.com. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Casey Alvarez.
Some students, like us, are back in school, but for some, the experience isn't everything they expected. Emmett Steele has the story.
Mohawk students are back on campus this year, but you wouldn't know it by walking down the empty halls. At first glance, you could write off the lack of excited students as the effects of COVID restrictions, but as you pass by empty class after empty class, it becomes indicative of something more.
Everybody thinks of it in terms of COVID, but I think it's thinking of it in terms of the aftermath, right? In that respect.
Susan Peniak, a student success advisor at Mohawk College, used to hear from students who were excited to return to campus. Now that those students are back, that excitement has turned to frustration.
A lot of people don't like what they have to go through to get in on the campus. I've got a lot of them that aren't clear on the procedures. I think that it's frustration so when you come in already frustrated or feeling annoyed, the whole rest of your day is going to be impacted, right?
According to Peniak, once students start their day with that stress, it can be hard to move on.
It's hard to settle in then because you're already, the atmosphere that has been set up because of that now is not a relaxed atmosphere of welcoming and, hey, let's work together as long as you stay apart.
This trend of unhappiness has left Peniak concerned for students who have yet to return to the campus.
There's positivity that can happen, but maybe just getting into the classroom has not left it set up for that atmosphere. The students that want to come in, that's what they're looking for, but I don't know if that's what they're going to get when they get there.
Students who would like to learn more or voice concerns about Mohawk's COVID safety protocols should reach out to questions@mohawkcollege.ca. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Emmett Steele.
There's a whole new meaning to what art can be, and the Royal Botanical Gardens in Burlington is the place you can go to experience it. Jessica Maxwell has more.
A virtual art installation at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Burlington has people seeing the invisible. RBG is hosting the Canadian premiere of one of the largest contemporary art exhibitions ever created, spanning over 7 countries and featuring 13 international artists. Seeing the Invisible is a digital art experience using augmented reality technology where viewers use a smartphone application to take in the exhibits. Using the app interface, visitors are able to see unique interactive art within the Hendry Park landscape. They could virtually walk through and take photos engaging with moving larger-than-life artworks. Setting this experience inside botanical gardens across different countries without disturbing the environment and keeping the carbon footprint to a minimum is the art of the future, says RBG member Teresa, who was at the first After Dark event featuring the exhibit.
It's the way of the future, and I think it will attract younger audience.
After taking in the sights, visitors could sit around the fire with a drink and a bite to eat while listening to the musical stylings of the Rosewood duo. Seeing the Invisible will be available at the RBG until November 6th, with After Dark viewings hosted every Thursday, featuring different musical acts each night. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Jessica Maxwell.
Even though adjusting back into in-person classes can be hard, Mohawk College has supports for students on campus. Andrew Cameron has more. Tim Hortons Field welcomed a full crowd to this year's Thanksgiving Ticats game. Megan Daniels has more.
Many CFL fans stormed Tim Hortons Field yesterday as the Hamilton Ticats took on the Toronto Argonauts in a Thanksgiving matchup. Thanksgiving festivities were seen all around as tailgaters celebrated the holiday with deep-fried turkey and blaring music. Last night's game was the first game that Tim Hortons Field was allowed maximum capacity. Victoria Iro attended the game and discussed what the fan experience was like now that the restrictions have been lifted.
I felt comfortable. The people that we were with were in a group, but everyone around us was spaced away from us, so it was pretty comfortable.
IRO also discussed whether or not TICAT staff were doing their part in enforcing the mask mandates still in effect.
At the end of the game, people were getting a little bit rowdy and they didn't have their masks on and they were like hugging or like trying to like cheer with the people around them, and the security was definitely like not up in their face, but definitely enforcing those rules, which was like really good to see.
The Ticats were looking for a win after a devastating loss to the Montreal Alouettes, but came up just short in the final seconds of the game when the Argos scored a last-minute field goal. The Ticats look to secure a win against the Ottawa Red Blacks when they face off at Tim Hortons Field on Saturday, October 23rd. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Megan Daniels.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Ignite News from Mohawk College. I'm Casey Alvarez, and we'll see you next time.